G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's go. I told my husband that we should get a divorce so he can marry his late wife's tombstone. I, 35 female, married my husband, 37 male, 10 years ago. Prior to our relationship, he had been married for 2 years to L, 22 female. Sadly, she passed away because of ongoing health issues. I met my husband 5 years after her passing. At the beginning of our relationship, I had some issues with his romantic history. To put it bluntly, I was having trouble accepting my husband's past and that he did not stop loving his late wife, but was forced to do so. I went to therapy for a year to treat that, and I managed to overcome this issue. My husband knows this and was very supporting of me in the treatment. I now like to say that Elle and I would have been best friends. The issue. After 10 years of marriage, we've been having a lot of arguments derived from bad communication. We seem to just blow everything out of proportion. About 3 months ago, every time we have an argument, he takes the car and goes away for hours. When I asked where he went, he told me that he went to see her, Elle. Now, this is very weird from him, because he, at best, visits Elle's grave 3 times a year. I then asked him not to run away every time we fight, and to please tell me when he goes to the cemetery so we can go together. He just brushed me off. He's been doing this for months now, and it's destroying me. The feelings I fought the first year of our relationship are coming back. I am sad all the time, and I cry at night. But my husband just keeps going away for hours. At this point, I think he's doing it out of spite more than anything else. Yesterday, I reached my limit. We fought over frickin' trash, and that's how petty our arguments are. He took the car at 4 p.m., returned at 11 p.m. I was waiting for him at the dining room. The conversation went like this. Me. Where were you? Him. I visited her again. I've told you multiple times about how your actions hurt me, and you continue to do them. You can't stop me from going. Well, we can get a divorce. That way, you can marry Elle's tombstone, being that you care more about it than our marriage. I could see the shock in his face when I said that. I apologized immediately, but I think he didn't hear me. I saw how he started crying. He has been locked in his office since yesterday, and he refuses to come out. I feel like the biggest asshole ever. What I said was a low blow and something horrible. I attacked him where I knew he was going to hurt. But at the same time, a part of me thinks that what he is feeling right now is just a fraction of what he has put me through for months. I literally made a vow to Elle the day that I got engaged. I told her, you can take care of him from heaven, and I'll take care of him from here on earth. I broke that vow. Is there any way I can salvage this relationship? Edit. A Redditor told me to put this in the post. 3 months ago, we found out that I am pregnant after 8 years of trying. He has been visibly stressed out and reactive since the discovery, even though we both wished for a baby. In the comments, the real question is, why are the two of you fighting so much all of a sudden? There is an underlying issue here, and his dead wife isn't the problem. Him visiting her grave so often just shows that this isn't just about your fights, the issue is deeper here. OP replies, thank you for your tip. We found out that I was pregnant 3 months ago. He became very reactive and is visibly stressed out. The problem started since that discovery, even though we both wished for a baby for so long. Sad face. Sounds like he's having some sort of trauma response or crisis to having a baby. You both have said and done hurtful things. It doesn't make you bad people, it makes you both humans who need the right tools to communicate your feelings and fears better. Likely the only thing you can do to salvage this is to get therapy, both of you, separate and together if possible. I'd say becoming a widower is different than being hung up on an ex as long as they're not actively grieving and having that negatively impact your relationship. It's just something that just always is going to exist. My grandfather says all the time that he's lucky enough to have had 2 great loves in his life. He was a widower. He's an amazing husband to my grandmother, and she acknowledges the fact that he had a past and that her death didn't and doesn't hurt their loving relationship. Your husband running to her grave every time you fight is certainly concerning. So talk about it, get into counseling, and see where it goes from there. That's assuming you even want to fight for this. I'd imagine this has been a theme throughout your relationship, and you've just overlooked it the entire time until you finally can't anymore. It's time to address it now. Good luck. I am so confused. How is OP the bad one when he's leaving to his late wife's grave, not sure I believe that, for 7 hours? And if he's coming back at 11, that would mean that he's there while it's dark. I don't know that I believe he is there either. Exactly. And what if he isn't even going to the cemetery? It's just an excuse. He finds fault in their relationship already, so maybe he's moving on with someone else or finding comfort on the side. The cemetery story is an easy cover-up for his real actions. She was right in calling him out how she did. If he cares more about his late wife than her, he needs to admit it and they can both move on. It's understandable for him to miss his late wife and still love her, but he's with this woman now and he is married to her. There has to be a boundary or a line, and he's crossed it multiple times already. And now, onto the update. Hello everyone. My previous post was locked and removed, but I still wanted to update for everyone who kindly commented and left advice under the post. Before the update, I wanted to clarify something. I was only jealous of Elle in the first year of our relationship, but as I said, I worked through it in therapy. Throughout my relationship with my husband, I've hosted dinners in her honor, ordered embellishments for her grave, pushed my husband to reconnect with his former in-laws, and I even placed her in my altar of Dia de Muertos alongside my family members. I consider her a friend, even if I never met her. The update. We agreed on temporary separation, since we still don't know how we're going to co-parent and stuff like that. Shortly after my post, he came out of his office, and I made us both dinner, and we talked, for what feels the first time in months. First, I apologized about what I said, but I told him that the point still stands. I then asked him if he truly goes and sits at her grave for hours, and he said that he does not do that. Turns out that he sits at her grave for an hour at max, and then he goes on a tour around the city visiting their favorite places. He goes to restaurants and asks for her favorite dishes, drives around to her favorite spots in the city. I then asked him why. Why was he doing it now that we found out I was pregnant after so much trying? He said that he couldn't avoid thinking about what it would have been like to raise a child with Elle and about how many things he missed experiencing with her. He did say that he did not regret our relationship, which makes it better, I guess. I also asked him if I failed him in any way. Was I a bad wife? A bad friend? Did I fail to fulfill his needs? He said that I just wasn't her. Honestly, I think I'd rather have someone punch me than him telling me that. Finally, I asked him when is he starting therapy. He responded that very soon because he wanted to be a good father. I said, fine, because I don't want someone around my child who grieves an imaginary child and an imaginary life when he has a living and breathing family. That's all, I think. He moved out to his parents' house the same night. Her mother did call me to tell me that she and my father-in-law chewed him out for what he did. I thanked them and told them that I'm still very interested in them having a relationship with my child, and they should not pay for their son's mistake. I also visited Elle, and I apologized for breaking my vow, but that I hope she's able to watch over husband and to help him throughout his therapy. I want to thank everyone who helped me realize my mistakes and how I was neglecting myself. You were all very helpful, and I owe you all a lot. Now in the comments, he said that I just wasn't her. Damn, that would make me leave. It sucks because he's just romanticizing everything about his ex. Maybe they did have a perfect relationship, but who knows if it would have stayed that way. But he gets to live in his perfect world in his head instead of living in the moment. He could have another perfect relationship with OP, but he refuses to acknowledge that. It's sad all round. Wow, I have heard of people romanticizing someone after they are gone, but this is a whole new level. She passed so young, and now in his mind, she has been built into this amazing and perfect woman who can never do wrong. It's almost comparable to a surviving sibling whose perfect brother died very young. You can never compete. It's not real and shouldn't be a competition. I'm really sorry that you're dealing with this. You deserve better, and he needs a therapist to help him deal with his intrusive thoughts. And now onto the final update. My soon-to-be ex-husband has changed and asked me to give our relationship a second chance, but I'm unsure. Hello, it's me again. Since my last post, a lot has happened. I gave birth to my son a bit over a month ago. He is the most beautiful baby ever. I love him more than anything. I've also been going to therapy, and it's been great. Overall, life is kinda dreamy right now. Doesn't seem real. Anyways, since everyone here was so helpful last time, I figured I would ask you for advice in this situation. After our separation, my husband started therapy. He was diagnosed with depression and is on meds. He also started to attend a grief support group. Since all of this happened, he has changed so much. It's like he's a different person. During all of my pregnancy, he has been so supportive, helpful, and respectful of my boundaries. He is also very apologetic and has asked for forgiveness for everything that he put me through this year. Like, he made a list of every way that he failed me and apologized for each one of those things. I've also attended many of his therapy sessions, apart from marital counseling. That helped me understand the immense grief that he's been carrying, apart from his own mental health issues, and how all of it became exacerbated with the arrival of our baby. The last 3 months of my pregnancy were pretty bad. The doctor advised me to move as little as possible. My husband offered to be my live-in nurse, and I accepted. So we've been living together for the past 4 months. Of course, we don't sleep in the same room or anything like that. He's been so great with me. We've had so many amazing conversations, and we just work wonderfully together. I feel like I've regained my husband, that the person I married is here again. After putting the baby to sleep yesterday, we had a conversation. He told me that he thinks he's ready to rekindle our relationship and asked me for a second chance. He told me that he will do anything he can to be deserving of a second chance. I honestly don't know what to do. Like, this past year I watched him try to better himself and succeed at it, but he's also been so kind to me and is great with our son. But I also know that he's in a pretty vulnerable state right now, and I really don't know if I would be able to pick up our relationship where it ended. I don't know what to do. Should I give it a try? Now in the comments, I would try, but I would take it slow, like very slow. A few dates maybe, but I'm not going to lie, the part when he said that you are not her, I just couldn't get over that. It sounds like you are both doing much better. Good for you both. Only you will know the answer to that question. I would say go for it. Sounds like you two still care about and are good for each other. But trust no one on Reddit. Only you know everything that has happened and all the changes that have taken place. Use what you have learned in therapy and trust your gut on rather to start something again or not. If he's already living there and he's good to you and you feel good, then ask yourself, why not give it a go? Discuss the list of pros and cons with your therapist maybe. Good luck to you. I wish you both and the baby the best. This one is all around awful. Grief can do horrible things to a person. If there is one thing I hope posts like this do, it's to normalize therapy. I've gone to therapy to work through issues and better myself. Mental health is vital, and if you suppress trauma for a decade or so, it'll come back to manifest itself in weird ways. I hope OP, her co-parent, and their child are happy and healthy, even if they don't end up together. What I'm not sure is whether he started suffering depression and it latched to the old grief, or the old grief caused the depression. It didn't sound like he had such an unhealthy grief before, so it may have been mismanaged mental illness. It definitely raises awareness about therapy, as you say. It sounds like he just never dealt with his grief. When I read in her first post how she attended therapy to deal with his grief, I was thinking, wait, why isn't he attending therapy to deal with his grief? It sounds like something he should have done long before he even started dating again, instead of putting her through 10 years of misery and escalating to the point of separation. I'm really glad that he's doing so much better now, but it's annoying that they lost so much happy and healthy relationship time together. I don't think there could ever be any getting past the "I just wasn't her" comment. Mentally, I don't know if I could handle it after 10 years. That's you, and probably me too, but if OP can, and believes they'll find love and happiness in a second chance, I hope she lets herself have it. And if she doesn't believe it'll work, I hope she doesn't beat herself up over it. Our next post is titled, "Soon everyone will know he's been messing with his stepmother and stepsister." For a little while, I've suspected my husband of cheating. I didn't have any justification for thinking or feeling this way, but I couldn't stop having this gut feeling that something was wrong. So I decided to keep a closer eye on him, and I still found nothing. And for a long time, I was angry with myself for suspecting him and for invading his privacy. We went to marriage counseling, and I apologized for breaking his trust in me, and for a little while all was well. I can't believe I apologized to that lying sack of crap, but that wretched feeling never went away. I tried so hard to get over this feeling that he was deceiving me in some way, and I just couldn't. So I decided that it was time to hire a private investigator instead of playing Inspector Gadget myself. Let me tell you, this was the best thing I ever spent money on. Within a month, the PI was able to confirm my suspicions, but it was a shock to find out that it was his stepsister and his stepmother. Not only that, but he may be the father of his stepsister's newborn baby. I could have killed him, but I kept my composure, and I kept this information to myself and continued to act as normal as possible. Believe me, that was a very difficult thing to do. I slowly started detaching myself from him and even moved into our spare bedroom, and we continued to drift apart. I moved out, got a new job, and started saving money for our divorce. I got my life in order. Now here we are, almost a year later, and in the final stages of our divorce, and I've still not told anyone. I've spent the last year preparing for our divorce because I'll be damned to leave this marriage empty-handed. I wanted to handle our financial affairs first because my husband works for his father, and I didn't want to leave him unemployed during our divorce process. This son of a bitch dragged out our divorce and fought me for everything, even things that were mine to begin with. But I kept my calm, and I won't say a word until I get everything I deserve. That's when I'll tell his father. And his father is not a man to be messed with. I've been assured the check will clear in 3 days or less, and it's over for Robert, because as soon as that money hits my account, his mother, stepmother, stepsister, brother-in-law, and father will receive a beautifully written email with pictures and videos of what he's been up to. His dad will tear him apart. Count your days, Robert. In the comments, I just gotta say, I've worked for a private investigator, and cheating spouse cases are sad, but also feel good to solve. Even when it sucks, everyone deserves answers. How often were they hired for that purpose, and were they usually cheating most of the time? Well, it depends. We are hired for that purpose a lot, really, and most of the cases, all the ones I solved, for example, they were cheating. My job is to prove to my client the affair, but when they come with their insights, I already know that's the case. Just go for the proof. Everything changes when you're trying to keep a secret. I really hope for your sake that he doesn't find this and ruin your plans. There was a girl on here who was planning on burning her boyfriend's world to the ground and posted it the night before, and he found it and ruined everything. And now on to the follow-up. Let's clear some things up. When Robert's father remarried, Robert was already a 30-year-old man, so no, he wasn't sexually groomed, and his stepsister was 31 when she met him. Again, no one here is being sexually abused. All involved were already well into adulthood when meeting, and when they started to screw around. As for the money, well honey, that's money he owed me, but he was being a dick about giving it back. I invested in his business ventures, and he refused to pay me my share. And that's not crap I was willing to let slide. You can't get a broke man to pay his debt. So F yes, I wasn't going to let him be unemployed during our divorce. The aftermath. I sent the email as soon as I saw the money had hit my account. The first to call me was Robert, and I picked up. First words out of his mouth were, "You evil-ass cow?" I replied with, "Your mama," and I ended the call. The second person to call me is stepsister's husband. He was just heartbroken. He asked me a ton of questions, and he asked for my divorce lawyer's information. We also discussed him getting a DNA test for all their kids. Through brother-in-law, I found out there was an all-out war between stepmother and father-in-law. He tried to kick her out, but she locked herself up in her bedroom. While the father-in-law was throwing her crap outside, stepmother-in-law called her daughter for help. At some point, stepsister and stepmother got in a fight. The fight was so bad that the neighbors called the police. In the scuffle to separate mother and daughter, they hurt one of the police officers and were arrested. They are still in jail because neither of them have anyone willing to bail them out. The following day, I got a call from Robert telling me that his daddy almost ran him over. So he wanted to come stay with me because he's scared that his daddy or brother-in-law will try to beat his ass again. Robert is scared to go home. His dad and brother-in-law are pretty much camped outside of his place and have already jumped him twice. Robert is terrified. He tried to stay with his mother, and she told him that he had made his bed and should now lie in it. FYI, I am not done with Robert yet. I've got more planned for him. In the comments, you should let him stay with you and invite the father and brother-in-law, then go to the supermarket. You know, go and grab a bag of popcorn. And OP says, and have their fight destroy my new home? I think not. He's really asking the woman he cheated on and dragged through a messy divorce if he could stay with her. This man seriously has no self-preservation instincts. Well, he might, as in he might try to kill her and preserve what he thinks is left of his dignity. Because jilted ex-husband wouldn't be the first on the list of suspects, huh? I get what you're saying, but kinda reinforces the whole no preservation instincts. Quote, he tried to stay with his mother, and she told him that he had made his bed and should now lie in it. Do we need to remind the both of them that this was a bed belonging to his father? I feel bad for OP, but this is nuclear revenge, completely deserved. Daddy Dearest and ex-brother-in-law are going to kick his ass. Imagine cheating not only with your stepsister, but also her mum. I don't think this is revenge at all. He did all of this to himself. She only waited to share what she knew so she wouldn't get screwed over in the divorce. There really isn't anything devious about anything she did. Edited to add, I am so surprised by all the comments saying this is nuclear revenge. She's not causing the family to explode. He did that. He used to blame for all of it, and it was going to come out eventually. Revenge would be doing something equal or worse to him to punish him for his actions. Wanting to make sure that she gets her fair share in a divorce is also not revenge. It's the rational thing to do. Kinda like how abuse victims play along and then leave all of a sudden with no warning. You want to make sure you're safe and covered before revealing your hand. There's no reason to be a martyr. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.